everyone. Welcome to When Artists Drink Cocktails. I'm your host, Katie Phillips. Tonight, I am very excited to talk with an artist from South Carolina, Kelly Pelfrey, who is about to release a coffee table book. So she is so wonderfully talented, and she's going to tell us her process of doing it, give us a little behind-the-scenes look at everything that went into it, and some of the lessons learned along the way. So she should be joining us very soon. Let's see, here she is. Here. So I can't wait for you to meet her, and I can't wait to talk to her myself. So there she is.
Hi.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm so great. How are you?
I'm good. This is so fun. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, no, thank you. This is a delight.
Of course.
I actually used that word in real life. That wasn't a play of words.
Yeah, okay. So first and foremost, what kind of cocktail are you working with tonight?
Well, this might be a first.
Probably not.
Oh, it might be. Guess what's in this mug?
Oh gosh.
It's as silly as you could think. It is literally hot water.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I'll tell you, my husband and I are doing like a fitness challenge right now, and we have to drink a gallon of water every day. So This is truly one of my only choices. But also, if I'm telling you a true confession, I drink hot water at 7:30 on a Thursday night. Like, that's what I like.
Oh, really?
It's weird, and I know it's weird. There's my true confession. Now everybody knows how weird I am. I like to drink hot water.
Oh, well, I love it. Well, now I'm intrigued. Now I want to try it.
I love it, and anybody that's willing to try it usually ends up liking it. But a lot of people just think it's strange.
Yeah, well, it kind of reminds me like it might be like tea, but just not without the tea in it.
Without any flavor, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Hot water.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm trying to do a low calorie thing myself, so I've got like one of those sparkling waters. So they're like 0 calories, and it's the coconut pineapple, and then just a little splash of rum. So it kind of feels like a beach, but
nice.
Spring break kind of drink.
Drink. I love it. That's so fun. Well, I do love a good soda water too. So I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we're here to. Oh, go ahead.
Hot water any day of the week. So.
Well, cheers.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk to you. First of all, I just want to say your work is gorgeous. Like the only word I can even think of to me is dreamy. Like I wish I could just jump into one of your paintings and just live like a whole day in there. It's just so dreamy. And so really, like I'd love for you to just kind of tell us a little bit about your background, your journey, and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So, like so many artists, I'm sure like yourself, I don't remember not being an artist, in that I know God made me an artist, and I love to draw, from the earliest memories I have. My mom will tell stories of you drew when you didn't feel well, you went into your room to create art when you were bored, or you felt great. So I grew up in a small town in South Carolina, and they actually had a fabulous local arts program, great arts in the schools.
And that's great.
Supported that. So I was able to jump onto like community art classes, and even our school district had a summer gifted and talented program for the arts. So I had a lot of opportunities, even in a small town, to create. And I did that all through, my early years. And then when it was time to sort of choose my path after high school, I debated, well, what do I want to do? I thought, like so many, like, well, you can't be a real artist. That's not a real job. So I decided to get a degree in art education for the idea of a paycheck, and also to get to be around art, talk about art all day long. And so I went to the University of South Carolina and got a BFA. And afterwards did teach for a whole lot of years until very recently, 2 years ago, it was not a light decision that was made, but in this story that if we have any more time, I don't go into the whole thing, but that's when I went full-time as an, and it's been since January of 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you did it during the pandemic.
Yeah, I didn't know a pandemic was coming. I never would have quit my business. I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least you're here now, and you're just killing it.
Oh, thank you for saying that's so kind. It's truly been it's been more than I could have asked for or imagined. It's been a dream, and I'm so very thankful that I get to do what I love every single day.
Yeah. That's great. Well, let's see. Let me check my notes here. So we're here to talk about your new book,
Yeah.
Delights, and it's a beautiful 300-page hardbound coffee book. So tell me, how did this idea of of putting together a book come to life? Like what made you think, oh, I should make a book?
Sure. Well, my first reaction was I should not make a book. I had a friend who's an artist, and her name is Kelly Pelfrey, and she created a coffee table book. I don't know, probably a year and a half ago or so. I know a year ago, I was at her home and she shared it with me, and she said, like, you should totally do this. And I thought, oh, I don't think I just let that idea sit for a while. And I love a good quiet morning. That's when I feel like God gives me my best ideas.
Yeah.
And one morning of the spring of last year, that I just really felt this nudge, like, oh, you should do a coffee table book. It's almost like,
Yeah.
and I sort of leaned into it and thought about it a little more, and I talked out loud to my husband about it, and talked to some other friends about it, and had other friends go, yes, you absolutely should. And the idea of it was, it was overwhelming to me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
again, what is this? You don't know anything until you start to learn.
Yeah. Just have
And
to
so
try it.
it was then that I decided, yeah, I'm gonna investigate and find out if this is something that I am gonna pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And truly made the decision to go full steam ahead. And it was late summer when I knew, like, this is absolutely happening.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, let's see. So you're just a self-published, you're not going through a publisher, or are you?
So I am doing a self-published route. I'm actually using Palmetto Publishing, which is in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
And they specialize in art books. I knew their quality was excellent because I had seen Teal Duncan's book, The Color Teal.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I knew I'd held their books before, so I had confidence in the product without seeing what mine would look like yet. I knew that on their end, the quality was there. And I love working with a local team. I did reach out to a few other self-publishing publishers and got some other options, and I just felt like this one was the right choice. I do love that I have phone numbers I can call and speak to someone, and it's a real person, and they're so kind and gracious towards me. So that was the route.
Yes, having that personal customer service kind of touch really probably put a lot more confidence in that decision.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so like, I know, like, being a self-published author, that, I know that entails like probably a big, financial commitment from your side. Like, how did you maybe say, you know what, yes, let's take this financial leap? Like, what gave you that confidence?
Sure. Well, I am the kind of person, I do not like to have inventory. I like to create something and then, Lord willing, sell it. Or I even with my prints, I do a limited number. I don't keep inventory stacked up in a closet somewhere. So, the idea of like having boxes of books is not appealing to me at all.
Yeah.
So one of the wonderful things is with this company, you can order as few as 150 copies.
Oh,
and
wow.
So there was such a low minimum that I felt, okay, this is something that I could do without the risk of, oh, I'm just going to be giving books from now until 2045.
Like, guess what you're getting for your birthday for the next 10 years.
Yeah. And it's been such a good fit because also I was able, we're doing pre-orders right now. And I had a good window of time where I could do that before I also had to make the commitment on the number.
Right.
And I'm sure you would know that obviously the higher quantity, the better pricing you get per book, that sort of thing.
Right.
doable even at a very low number.
Uh-huh.
And my goal with this book was for it to be just a soothing blessing for the people who
Yeah.
get it. And so my goal wasn't for this book to be something, I didn't have a goal as far as, I had a goal of how many hands I wanted to get into, but
Yeah.
it wasn't something that was a financial goal
Uh-huh.
personally, but rather I'm so happy with it. I'm proud of it, but I also
Yeah.
think it is going to be a blessing to people that I do want lots of people to have it. So I have a goal for that reason.
Yeah.
In fact, like I have the book right here, but I just
I love it.
three pages, and it's just in the beginning of the book. It says, suggestions for how to enjoy this book. May I suggest a cup of tea or coffee or hot water?
Hot water.
Quiet to yourself, settle into your favorite cozy spot, and let your eyes soak in a few images. Pause to delight in the beauty present in your own life. Take a deep, grateful breath and say a prayer of thanks to the giver of all good gifts. And that's my hope for this book, that it's just
Yeah.
people taking images, and they it makes them see the beauty that's all around them and
Yeah.
have an added level of gratitude.
Yeah.
That's really the goal.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm excited that answered more of your questions. So tell
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah. No, I love that. That is just so true, and just taking inventory of every little thing around you, and just seeing the beauty in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that. So I guess just thinking about putting the book together. So did the publishing company have a team that helped you, or did you have to go out and find photographers, writers, graphic designers? Like, how did that part work?
Sure. So it's they have options, and the publishing company I'm working with, they have options where you can hire someone to do your design, to do your editing. Those were options.
Mm-hmm.
There may be for photography, but I didn't even ask about that, so I'm not completely sure. But the route I took, I can tell you, is that we talked about like how long did it take to create. Well, some of these, a few, the oldest paintings that are featured in the book, I think there's two maybe that are before I was even full time, that
Uh-huh.
were probably 2018, 2019, but the majority of them were from the past 2 years, a
Oh
little over
wow.
two. Um,
Uh-huh.
so I just, I'm sure like you do, I take photos of,
Yeah.
thing I'm painting, and had all of these images from
Mm-hmm.
paintings I created. So none were created with the book in mind first. They were created
Mm-hmm.
for the client I was working with or the collection that I was doing. And then they began to have clear themes. So there's 12 sections or themes in the book. And what I did, and I'll jump back, I need to answer your question all the way. But what I did was I began grouping these in like Dropbox folders.
Okay.
So I have, marsh images. And so I just began adding those images there. So it was really easy to see like how I was going to begin to put them in the book. But I also, I hired a designer to do the design portion of the book.
Okay.
I wrote the words, or if it wasn't my own writing, it was quotations that I
Yeah.
obviously give to the person I quoted. Um, and and then I hired an editor, but my writing part in a Word document took up 9 to 10 pages,
Uh-huh.
because so image driven. There's
Yeah.
lots
Yeah.
where, you know, there's so much here. So there's no there's no words on these pages.
Yeah.
So, there was no editing needed other than the
Right.
design to place the images. So, so that's the way I did, is I just
Okay.
I those pieces separately.
Uh-huh.
And then we just upload the file once it's
Okay.
finished. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. So it doesn't sound like, as like I was sitting here like, oh my gosh, where would I even start? But it sounds like it was a pretty straightforward process.
Yeah. The more the less overwhelming it is. You think like,
Yeah.
oh, I do know how to do this. Photo. You know how to, put them in Dropboxes. I do know how, once you get the name of the person, like, oh, these are some contacts for who could design it. These are some contacts for who could edit the book.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
it's very reasonable also because the editing was so small. That wasn't a,
Yeah.
it was very, very reasonable to be able to have someone else edit. I actually had
Yeah.
two people,
Uh-huh.
and then, lots of eyes of some very close friends and my mom.
Oh, yes. Always gotta get mom in there.
Yes, to say, you see anything where I actually had one image in the book twice and like looked at it 100 times and didn't notice it. I mean, it was an
Yeah.
accident.
Right,
Girls.
right. Yeah, no, it's like when you're so close up on it and you see it 100, oh yeah, you're going to, yeah, you miss stuff like that. So
And
yeah, it's always.
I think I just saw that. I'm like, oh, exactly.
No, wait a minute.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. I know I have like so I think you so from start to finish. So like say like I mean not counting like the paintings like painting the paintings themselves, but like from the time like you're like, hey, I'm gonna do a book to the time you're about to release it, you'd say so it's about a year or so or
It could be even less.
yeah.
If you, depending on how ready you are. So let's say
Okay.
you images or the majority of what you think the images are going to be. It
Mm-hmm.
really would depend on probably the amount of time that you went back and forth with your designer as far
Yeah.
as, cover approvals. Like, it might
Mm-hmm.
take a little longer to get to one that you both love. But if
Yeah.
you really what you have in mind, that also can be a very short process.
Yeah.
So and then again, same thing with editing, the more back and forth you take or the longer you take to write something, the longer it's going to be. But truly, if you have all of your images and you have all of your writing, once that part happens, if you're like, it depends on your designer and it might take them 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
But, so it's
Yeah.
really, it's like the collecting of the images took over 2 years or yeah, a little over 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
The writing part, my husband and I went on a getaway, and that's where I really like nailed that
Yeah.
part down. So that was a week of
Yeah.
spending some time. But yeah, once you know like these are the words I want, these are the images, then it
Wow.
can be a very short process with self-publishing,
Yeah. Okay.
which is a huge advantage. Whereas with
Yeah.
a publisher, I would probably still be in the proposal stage. And 2 years from now, these paintings, while I hope I'd still be so proud of them and love them, they would feel like not. It well, that's not a good analogy. I was going to say an outfit from 3 years ago, but more
Yeah,
special.
well, it's like, well, you change, you grow, and you start to do new things. Because yeah, I mean, I look at paintings. I mean, I'm proud of them, but that's probably not how I would do them now. It doesn't mean that they're wrong or bad. It's just
Right.
different.
It's just different.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So okay, let's see. So hang on. So now we're in the pre-order phase of the book. So I know you've got like some different promotions and things going on. So talk about some of the ways that you're promoting the book and and all that.
Sure. So one of the main ways, and I think is just a great way to communicate as an artist, is I do communicate via email to my email community about once a week.
Okay.
Let them know when pre-orders happen. That's I think so many people that first day, if they wanted to order, that's when they did it, which was amazing. And I was so to get those early orders. And so now it's, of course, communicating via Instagram as always, through my email. I do have some people that are going to share it more on their own Instagram sites. There is going to be a link on Amazon in the future. I wanted to first do it on my, but we are going to be adding it there. So the pre-order bonuses, that is such a fun thing. They're also going on. So if you haven't gotten a book and want one, I also have a code for artists, or if you're not an artist, you could use it, who are watching this, whether you watch it tonight live or later, I'll go ahead and say it. So if you go and click on, after this, you can click on my profile, and it's in the shop. It's the only thing I have in the shop. I don't have any paintings in my Instagram shop. So you can click on the book.
Okay.
It'll take you right to where you can check out on my website. And then when you check out, if you enter the code ARTIST, just one word, ARTIST, you'll get 15% off. And
wow.
Yeah, I'm not doing that anywhere else. So
yay, I feel so honored.
well, yeah, I I think it's fun for artists to help artists out, you know,
Oh
not
yeah.
only giving each other information, but also supporting each other. And so I think if this is something that you might want to do, anyone that's watching might want to create a book, it's really nice to hold more art books, especially if you're considering working with the same publisher or doing something similar. It won't be similar because every artist style is different. So when I say
Yeah.
similar, I mean
Right.
it's
The look, the touch, and the quality. Yeah.
exactly. So, you know,
Yeah.
I think there's room for everyone that is interested to
Hmm.
create a book. You know, I think about my kids looking at this one day, and
Yeah.
it's just really special. So,
Yeah.
so pre-order bonuses. You can get 15% off just because you watched this, which is,
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't planning to do that today. But then you're also right now, through the end of March, this one is going to end at the end of March, is I am giving away a limited edition giclée print of
Oh, nice.
4 kid prints. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I don't know which one you're going to get, but I've had some people, they ordered 4 books because they have, you know, a sister and a friend that are going to get at least one as well, so they could get all 4 prints. But that print is a archival quality on watercolor paper, and that's a $28 value. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so it's
That's
an
very
awesome.
generous.
And then right now there's still a few spots. So the first 500 orders are being entered to win a $1,000 commission. And
Oh wow.
yeah, their commission will be completed this year, which I don't have any more commission openings this year. So it's
Uh-huh.
also to get one in 2022. And, you know, yeah. So $1,000 commission. And then anyone who enters that code artist also, I want to do something for artists. I'm going to be talking about this a little more, but I would love to do a Q&A Zoom where artists could ask me even more nitty-gritty questions, and the way they will be able to do it is via email, where I won't say this question came from so and so. I'll just answer it. Like we can talk numbers, anything behind the like curtain fully open. It can be about the book, but it also could be other questions about running a professional art business.
Oh
I
wow.
think I've loved learning from others, and I'm so incredibly grateful. And so anything I can do to help someone at any stage in the game, and I say game, but you know what I mean, any stage in this
Yeah.
passion
Yeah.
of creating, I'm happy to help. So if you enter that code, I'm going to send those people who enter the code artist, I'm going to send them an email to let them know about when that is going to happen. It is going to be April the 5th. And yeah, we'll set up a time for a Zoom, and I'll probably hold it to the first 20 people that tell me that they want to be a part of it. So all you have to do is buy 1 book, enter that code artist, and I'll send you an email to let you know all about that.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do right after this. Yeah, so I saw a question come in. Let's see. So someone asked, do you use like the number of pre-orders to determine how many total to print? So does that help you in determining, do you have like a certain set number in your head, or?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, because I knew that some of these books really, and it's totally fine, I might still have in November when people are choosing to make a Christmas gift option. You know, so you don't want to sell it too soon. It is a hard thing. You don't want to sell it too soon, because then, you know, people would have to wait and you'd have to reorder, and you don't get that great or price because you didn't order enough, right?
Yeah.
So my goal with pre-orders was to get to the point where I would break even.
Okay.
And depending on, it would depend on the number. There's a lot of factors for the price of your book. So it's going to depend on some of the preferences that you had in paper, some of the preferences that you have, like, I don't know if you can see, there's that it's like a raised and shiny part.
Oh, yeah, it's like the spot UV on it.
Yeah, laminate, I think is what it's called. So add-ons you can do that are options, and then they'll give you a quote, and also the page number, of course. So how many pages you have, and then based upon that, you can decide where you think you might want to price your book. And then based upon that, yeah, it's just kind of, it's the math of, okay, well, if I get to this number in pre-orders, then I feel comfortable either investing a certain amount, or I know
Yeah.
like I'm going to break even, and anything that I sell after that
It's
is
icing on the
a
cake.
situation. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love that. I love that idea of the break even point and thinking about that and determining the number. That's good advice.
Right.
So
And again, this company that I work with, Palmetto Publishing, is wonderful that I didn't have to know that before we got started in the process. Like they gave me all the information about what I needed to do on my end. And you don't, so yeah, this is also good to know. You don't have to, I didn't have to do a deposit until I was ready to get my hard copy proof. So
okay.
I'm really able to know, okay, I think this is where I'm at pre-order wise, and this is what I think is going to be the right amount. And then they base a deposit off of that. And so that flexibility has been so helpful when it could be scary that you're thinking
Yeah.
like, I want to do this, but once again, I want my children to play with blocks, not mommy's books that she can't sell.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Delight.
That's funny. Yeah. And that's great with all that flexibility because, in my head, I was thinking, oh gosh, it's going to be like, you've got to commit all this money before you even know what's going to happen. But yeah, it sounds like it's not that way that, especially with this company, it seems like they're very flexible in that. So.
Yes. Yes. And in this day and age too, I mean, everybody does pre-orders, whether you're working with a self-publisher or not. It's so because that's become such a norm, it really is helpful for someone that's an artist, someone that's working basically on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Let's see. So do you have any advice for artists, that are thinking about creating their own book? Like anything, like maybe definitely don't do that, definitely do this. Any words of advice?
Yes. So one thing I would say is that if you, as you're taking photos of your art, even if you think, I'm probably not going to use this somewhere else, take a high quality photo. Your phone at a high res is going to be just a high res photo. So you can always go back and edit it to get the color right. So you don't have to worry, if you're thinking, oh, I don't have time to do photos of this, I don't have time for a photo shoot. If you can just take a high res photo that later you could edit to get the color right, to crop, you'll have that instead of, the paintings in this book do not live in my house now. I'm so thankful. They're all over the country. And so, yeah, having those photos, because I had a few that I just didn't have a good photo of that I couldn't use in the book, even though I love that painting. And so that would be advice. Another piece of advice is when you hire your designer, also to ask them if they will be available when you get your first proof back. Because if you need to make edits and they're not available for a few weeks, then you're suddenly, weeks out. And so just to kind of go ahead and have those ducks in a row. I would also, just map out your calendar. Like start with, this is when I would ideally like it in the hands of my collector. And then back it up as you talk with your publisher. So when do I need this to you by? And then they'll give you like a buffer time too to help you with that. And then back it up and just see if it's realistic. Because if it feels like too much and feels not realistic, then what if you just turn that into the next year? And then like, okay, well, I have more time. I have more time to collect images. I have more time for this. And so you can just know, like, I'm still working on this, but it's just going to be maybe a year later or 6 months later than I thought. I at first thought that I might try to do one that would have come out last Christmas. And then I did that, what I just said. And I realized, like, that is not a reality. And so Mother's Day, and really the cover of my book is just such a spring feel. Mother's Day being my goal actually turned out to be a better plan. And so I'm really thankful that that's how it worked out.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, and we just got another question that came in. Someone asked, do you show your art locally and do you join with other artists in shows?
So the answer would be yes. In Shane Gallery, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, is where I show my work, and do plan to be a part of a show there in August. and have shown work there in the past and have some pieces there now. They're not in the current show that's up, but there are pieces there as well. I also, so that would be the one like physical place. Other places where my work can be seen is at Houston House. She has a design shop, and it's in Chapin, South Carolina. And I don't have any pieces at her shop now because she does a wonderful job finding homes for them. But I do plan more in the future. And then I show via a gallery that's actually an online gallery that's local, the Christenberry Collection. And
yeah.
I have
beautiful stuff.
Her on March 24th. So
that's coming up soon.
Themed collection, just a couple. Very excited about that.
Yeah. What's the theme?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what's the theme of the collection coming out with Christenberry?
Well, I haven't given it a title yet. I need to do that.
I put you on the spot.
It is all low country marsh with some shrimp boat pieces and lots of large ones. So I love painting those. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I can't wait to see them.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's see. I think we have. I think I'm down to my last question now, and I close every interview out with this question. So, if you could invite anyone over from the past, living or dead, over for a cocktail, who would you invite over?
So I would invite over my grandfather, who has passed. He passed away when I was in my early 20s. And I feel like it was before I knew all the questions that I would have wanted to ask him. He was such a wonderful, wise man. I called him Other Dada because I named him a 2-year-old. And then that even when I was a teenager and a 20-something. But he also drank hot water. And I thought it was the best thing when I was a kid. I didn't drink hot water while he was alive. And I didn't start because of him. I started for another reason. But I would have a cup of hot water. And I would ask him so many questions about life because he was truly one of the wisest people I ever met.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. My grandfather actually passed away in my early 20s too. So it's like, I know it's like, man, I wish I, had a little more time. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much, Kelly, for coming on. This has just been so informative, and like your giveaway, in case is so you have said tap your profile, go to the shop button, and you're doing a 15% off artist. Type in artist in the promo code. This is just special for us tonight.
Yes.
And then we get 15% off plus like a print. Plus a special incentive to ask you like business questions, which is really cool. So
and you'll be entered to win
the $1,000 commission. Yeah, that's amazing. That's just so generous. So,
well, thank you for having me. This has been,
of course,
fun. I could talk to you forever.
In
person one day.
Well, if you're ever in the Atlanta area, let me know. I would love to.
I would love to do that too. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again. And so I will post a recording of this so that if anyone couldn't watch, they can come back and watch it again. And then also do like a blog recap so that just sort of like a quick recap of our combo, and then the full recording will be there as well. So
that sounds perfect. I will leave that code live for a solid week. So a solid week.
Okay, so it's good for a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey.
Great. So that if somebody doesn't see it until then, I still want them to get that deal.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Well, great. Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
All right. You too. Cheers.
Okay.